black light, which I always think is cool. Looks like a lightsaber. Can't go wrong with that. But let's take a look at some of these things I was talking about. So the first one is the fluorescent orange. So I was wondering how well it would turn out, but you can kind of see that it's very glowing. And in comparison to like my hand, let me grab something that doesn't fluoresce, but pretty much everything does. What doesn't fluoresce? There. All right, this book. When you look at it, it kind of looks kind of like a dull color. It's not really glowing. So when you put this in comparison to this, you can see that it's glowing quite brightly. So that's the idea. What it's doing is taking the ultraviolet light and turning it into visible light. So when you compare it to the book's not fluorescing, and this looks like it has a light being shown on it. It's not. It's emitting its own light. So when you look in the book and behind it, it is quite brighter than that. Some of the other things, so like this guy, which I love, is probably one of my more favorite toys. A lot of the toys that I have are fluorescent, and this is one of the joys of being a chemist is I get paid to go into toy stores and pick up fluorescent toys that I've learned to be able to pick out because they tend to be very unusually bright. Like tennis balls too. So tennis balls have fluorescent dyes inside of them, so they tend to glow or they tend to appear unusually bright. And so this is the reason why is they have fluorescent dyes inside of there. So once again, when you look at it in comparison to the book that's not fluorescing, it glows quite readily. So the light sticks, so you can see that they're glowing too. You can see the different colors. So you know how the different colors of the light sticks kind of vary. The idea is that what it's doing is there's different types of ink. So there's different molecules that fluoresce different colors. So you can see like this one's red and this one's orange. And if I was to crack them, that's what they would glow. But I haven't cracked them. And they still will glow under a black light. So remember the reaction inside of there, all it's doing is producing a chemical equivalent of ultraviolet light. So I'm kind of providing that to them. So would we have the cloth here? Remember that's something else we told. And you notice this is very kind of particular. It kind of has a very, bluish color. You can see that. So we want the blue color to mix with the yellows that are inside of the cotton to get rid of that. So you can see it kind of glows a little bit. And same thing when we look at paper. Paper is actually very fluorescent, so it's a very bright color. So when we look at it compared to the book, we can see that it glows, and it's kind of, there we go, it kind of has a bluish color. That's the idea, is we want the blue color to mix with the yellow tones that are inside of the paper itself, and that is going to allow it to look very, very white. So what's some of the other ones? So like I said, we have plenty of toys. So I got the little alien. This is one of my favorite, but it like fluoresces. So many of the toys actually fluoresce. That $100 bill's got a little strip down it. So my personal favorite, I love this one. So we have the rock, and when we shine the light on it, it glows. So it fluoresces quite well. And what I love is that it looks like it's kind of a piece of charcoal that, it's glowing in that sense. And so you can see that there's there we go. That only part of it is glowing. So that's where the mineral's at. And there's other, pieces of rock that do not fluoresce inside of there. So this is this is actually, I admit, most rocks do not fluoresce that particularly well. They will put out a color. So there's some that are green and some that are red, but this one in particular is just, I don't know, it's easily my favorite. So, and that, like I said, that you can see that there's some pieces that glow and some pieces do not. And then the last one, like I said, I always love this, this is probably one of my favorites, this guy. So my toy. So unfortunately, once again, I always prefer to do this live, but if when I do it, you take a picture of it, you can see how by spinning it, it kind of confuses the camera. And when you take pictures of it, it looks really spectacular. It's like a blur of color when you take a picture of it. So this is one of my favorite toys. But once again, it's just a toy that they put a bunch of fluorescent inks in to make it look fluorescent, just to make it more visually pleasing.